Hey everybody!
Hey guys!
Hey Kathy, we see you out there. Dan, Susie,
Yeah, hey Kathy.
Sarah's here. Woohoo!
Hey Sarah.
Dorian, do we still have Heidi?
We haven't called in yet, but here she comes.
Woo!
Xander, gotta get your school clothes ready, Xander.
Hey everybody, we're so glad you're here tonight. We are DCTV430, 4 women, 30 minutes. Digitally connected through voice. That's right, none of us have ever met in real life. And tonight's episode, we are going to come to you and lay it all out there and ask that infamous question, mirror, mirror on the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christy Kate, and I am a digital innovation consultant in Abilene, Texas for 42 school districts, and I am so glad you've joined us today. Who else do we have with us?
Good evening, everyone. I am Heidi Carr from Las Vegas, aka Sin City. However, I grew up in Northern Nevada. I teach in the 5th largest school district, which is Clark County School District. This gender snap is on fire, and what happens in Sin City stays in Sin City.
And I'm Valerie Lewis, a Georgia educator known to disrupt everything normal about education. I am originally from Miami, Florida, but I teach 10th and 11th grade language arts students. And I love what I do. I'm always known to kind of keep it real. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my fantastic crew tonight.
All right, and my name is Dr. Dorian Lee Roberts. I am coming in to you from Detroit, Michigan. I work for the largest urban school district in the state of Michigan, which is Detroit Public Schools. You might have heard of us. Well, right now, making national headlines, whether it be the ceiling, the floor, to the window, to the wall. I mean, I'm here giving you the best that I got from the Motor City.
And Dorian, we have seen some actual reality TV coming out of Detroit. I'm telling you, reality TV seems to have America hooked. Last night, Survivor had its season finale and it lasted 2 to 3 hours as they did a reunion show. And after however many years they've been on, they're still going strong. Reality TV has us hooked. And let me tell you, weight loss reality TV has everybody hooked as well. Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Fit to Fat to Fit.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme weight loss. And most recently, there's been a program out on Thursday nights called Strong. Everybody or anybody ever heard of Strong? Now, the thing about Strong that's supposed to be a little bit different is that Strong is supposed to not focus so much on how you eat and how much weight you can lose, how fast you can lose it. But you know what? It's more on are you strong inside and building a muscle? And so one of the things that happens on that show is at the end, they don't tell you how much weight that the people have lost. What they tell you is they've gained X number of pounds of muscle and lost the percentage of body fat. And for ladies, dress sizes. She went from a 14 to a 2, but gained 14 pounds of muscle. So all of these things that we do to focus on our looks and the television helps to prompt that and promote that. And I know that having been a high school teacher, Valerie, you can agree with me, those high school girls are constantly trying to figure out ways to either lose the weight. Some of them go through eating disorder issues and that type of thing. And so this phenomenon, the media promotes, the really skinny girl in the magazine has actually influenced our students quite strongly, and I am going to step out. I think Andy is here tonight, and Andy, when I step out, please call in. Heidi?
Welcome. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome Andy to our show. He is coming in here shortly. He is currently a health and PE teacher from Chicago. But Andy has had many experiences teaching different cultures around the world. Here he comes.
Awesome.
Come on in here, Andy from Blabber Miles. He is also one of the co-hosts to Blabber Miles, which you can view him on Monday nights, I believe, at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Is he there?
I think so. It was calling in.
Andy, are you there? We can't hear you.
He got a bad connection.
Well, we'll probably try to call back in.
Yes, it's telling us to make sure, but we'll go ahead and continue on. Valerie had a great meme she wanted to talk about.
Yes. So as we're talking about weight loss and image and how that can be portrayed, and Christy Kate brought a wonderful point. Like, I know at the high school level where I'm at now, it almost seems like we're at the club. It's Club Discovery instead of Discovery High School. Girls have their midriffs out. I mean, things are spilling over on the top. And it just makes me wonder, well, what happened to those good old Southern girls or those good old Georgia peaches? Well, ladies and gentlemen, not only is your external image in some ways important, but the inner character. And I don't know if we have that meme, and I see Andy is trying to call back in again, but there was a meme that said if some of us looked in the mirror, we would not, and if we could just see what is truly reflecting from the inside, it would probably be an ugly picture. So although we may put on the facade on the outside and everything looks good, that inside, that character is ugly. So that kind of leads me to the next point of character counts. And so when I go to this website, charactercounts.com, it talks about the 6 pillars of character. So not only do you need to be nice on the outside, but you need to be just as equally as beautiful and healthy and strong on the inside. Trustworthiness is one of the 6 pillars of character. Can you be trusted? Are words that come out of your mouth credible? Can people listen to what you're saying and know that you are a man or a woman of your word? The next one, respect. Do you hold yourself with respect? Are you respectable? Can people look at you and say, you know what, I value what you say because of the way you carry yourself? Responsibility. Looking at your character, can you be responsible? Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? Can people depend on you? Now, we know life gets in the way sometimes, but are you a man or a woman of your word? Can you follow through on those things? And yes, we all have a team and a network that we can count on. And if something becomes a little bit too burden for you, speak up. Say what you need some help with. So that way people can choose, they can depend on you again. Fairness. Are you fair? Do you treat everyone with equity? Or do you have your favorites? You know, the Mean Girls Club that were in high school. Oh, these are my girls, these are my crew. And then everyone else is kind of like boo-boo to you. Well, no. Can we treat everyone with fairness? As educators, that is something that our students look to us for. They may say, ooh, she's mean, but she's fair. Fairness goes a long way. There are no favorites. Caring. Are you caring? Are you someone with compassion? Is your heart big? Would you wear that on your sleeve? Would you give your last breadcrumb to someone, even knowing that you don't have for yourself? Does your heart speak volumes? And then, last but not least, citizenship. What does that speak? Do you get involved in the community? Or are you just someone that's in it for yourself? Are you looking to build the people around you? Now, you know, there's that saying that says you're only as strong as your weakest link. So are you trying to steal all the shine, or are you reaching back? Are you utilizing your talents and your gifts to empower those around you? So ladies and gentlemen, beauty is not just what's on the outside, but it goes skin deep. Let's go deep down within those pores. And when I look in the mirror, can I see past your eyes and into your soul? What does your character more so speak about you? So take those thoughts, reflect on them, and make sure that you are equally as beautiful on the inside as you are on the outside.
Very well.
Very well said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would have to say, even in 5th grade, I had a girl today. She had to go change. A few of them are starting to come in showing their bellies. They wear sports bras and have it nice and low. So the sports bras, so you could kind of see what's. Yep, it starts young.
Yeah, it does. I remember my mom making me wear those big old Umbro shorts on track field. Everybody laughing at me about, well, Valerie, why you got on those shorts? Those are not part of the uniform. And my mom said, oh, I am raising a Christian young lady, and she will not be wearing those skimpy tights. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I was the one out on the track field with the parachute shorts. So the wind and everything else was coming in. Awesome, Andy. Glad that you could connect. Make sure you're unmuted and we can hear you.
Welcome, Andy. We are thrilled to have you. How are you,
Andy?
Thanks for persevering.
That's grit.
Oh, yeah. You want to plug it out your phone? Oh, he must be on the computer. I don't have him muted.
Nope, we can't. We still can't hear you.
Keep trying. We'll get it.
Facial expression says it all.
Isn't that what fitness and health is all about? We got to push through, even in the ugly, even when we don't want to. We got to keep on going. I know Dorian, she was looking kind of side-eyed when Justin got in and was telling us about that T25. And Dorian said, oh, no, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do all of that. So stick with it.
I do not like T25. I do not like it, Sam. I am. I do not like it with green eggs and ham. I don't like those things. Those things that I don't know. I guess, you know, at one point in my life, I don't want to say I was.
Try coming back in and doing it that way.
I don't want to say I was gorgeous or beautiful, but there was a time that I was a woman of a particular size, and I was a particular size for a particular age, young. I didn't have all the responsibility. We were forced to go outside, play jump rope, you know, ride our bikes and all that wonderful kind of stuff. And then I remember I even had a great boost of energy when I was pregnant. And I was 7 months pregnant with David, taking those prenatal vitamins. I was doing double Dutch outside with the second graders. I was having a ball. And then David came and my energy left. And yeah, I am. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I can always talk about when I had it. And I in many ways have it and have a little bit extra. But I don't like talking about trying to lose the extra that I got. So I welcome to Andrew. You come on with it. Long as you ain't talking about how to make me lose weight like Justin does, I don't have no problem with you. The floor is yours.
Tell me, can you hear me now?
Yes!
God gave me this accent for a reason. I have to use it.
That's right.
You know, Valerie was talking some truth earlier. She was, you know, that was real talk. You know, she was talking about the beauty on the inside. You know, I mean, you might not feel that you have it anymore, but it's still there. You know, I know that I'm losing my hair just here, but no one looks for that as hard as I do. You know, no one is looking at me at me as harshly as I am. And that's the message that I say to my kids. You know, you might think you're not skinny enough, you're not blonde enough, and you know, they're the things I hear at school, but you're the only person thinking that. So for me, it's really important for my students to understand that if they don't feel good about themselves, they're not alone. So we'll do activities like a graffiti wall, where I'll get students to come up and anonymously write their thoughts and their concerns and plot themselves on, you know, on some kind of continuum. And then when we collate those results, each individual kid who thinks that they're alone realizes that there's many people just in that class of 30 that feel the same way that they do. And then our message has to be, if you don't feel good about yourself and your coping strategies, your go-to strategies aren't healthy, well, where can you go in the building and where can you go within the community if you need a support group, if you need somebody to just help you make slightly healthier choices? So that's always my takeaway is, you know, who can help you if you or a friend needs help.
Absolutely.
No, that is wonderful. And that's a great segue into this, and I know it's increasing. So depression is on the rise with our students. So according to the healthychildren.org, suicide is the third leading cause. Suicide is of our students between 15 to 24. And depression is one of those examples. And that encompasses many different things: eating habits, not sleeping well. So what are ways we could educate ourselves, see signs, and help our students be happy and not so down on themselves? Are there programs that you guys have in place in your health programs in Illinois?
We have to talk about it first and foremost. I mean, I think if you look at the figures, twice as many people in the States die with, you know, at their own hands than die from homicide. And, you know, there's people that think that we shouldn't really talk about it because that might be seen to even encourage it. But we have to talk about it. If you don't talk about something, you know, and you ignore it, you're kind of almost supporting it. And that goes with, you know, social justice themes as well. So we have to get it out in the open. I do know that there are teachers in our building who are receiving QPR training, which I think stands for question, persuade, and refer. So you question the children about the thoughts that they're having. You persuade them to seek help, and then you refer them on to somebody who can be in the best place to help them. I can listen to students, and often students will confide in me, and they may not confide in friends and family. But I'm not a trained counselor. There are people in the building who get paid good sums of money to look after kids in need. So I just have to advocate for those students and pass them on. And then I think my job is done. I don't ask those kids to come back to me and give me any feedback. They may choose to do so. But once they seek help, then I know they're in trusted hands, and, you know, and those guys can take it from there.
Wow, that's great that you guys have extra hands. We just hired in Nevada a whole bunch of social workers to help us with bullying and depression and other issues as well, because it's on the rise. It's an issue. And I know Valerie mentioned this about the selfie issue, but what's your take on the selfie mentality? Has it changed our physical perception of each other with us always having to turn around and snap a picture?
Yeah, you're right. And we do ask students about that. We'll specifically ask some questions, you know, such as when you post on social media. I see you. When you post pictures on social media, do you try and make yourself look good? We'll ask, you know, do students around you and at the school care about their image? Do selfies and other flattering photographs boost your self-confidence? And they do. It's that over-reliance. You know, there's a fine line between, you know, feeling good about yourself and being concerned enough to make healthy choices, or to be overly concerned and then those choices become unhealthy. You do need to care about yourself. You need to care about your looks. Of course you do. It's when those thoughts and those feelings consume you that then we know you have an issue.
Okay, now I got a question for you, Andrew, before we wrap up. If it's one thing that when you have an interaction with a student that may be feeling some kind of way about their image, what is one of the go-to things that you say with children, with teenagers who are developing all the time and are just not used to the hormonal change? What's some go-to that you like to say?
That's a tough one because obviously you have to take each student into treat them as an individual. For me, it's always I just ask them how they're feeling, and if tears start to flow, then you realize you've crossed the boundary. So then I'll ask them, is this an issue that you are talking to somebody about? Is there somebody around you that is looking out for you right now? And if the answer is no, then, okay, I can be that person. Can I introduce you to somebody who I know can help you? And hopefully the answer is yes. And they probably, they're with their girlfriends or their guy friends. And I'll say, are these guys keeping an eye on you? Okay, dry those eyes, clear up your tears. And then just contact the next teacher or the advisor or whoever's in charge of that student pastorally and say, look, there was an issue with this child. We need to just monitor and follow up.
Yeah.
Excellent advice. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on the show. Like I said, you can catch Andrew on Black Miles every Monday night at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time with our special guest director tonight, Dustin. Fabulous talking to you. Love you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Kick me out. Get the gorgeous Christy Kate back on.
Come over.
Look, I couldn't even hit the button to kick them out. All right, so one of the other ladies got here we go. Now it's about to get good some more. We have another special treat, ladies. I'm gonna net, I think it was Christy Kate. I'm gonna net Christy Kate. You want to introduce our next guest?
I am yay, there's Nicholas Ferroni. Hi, Nick. We're glad
hello. I apologize. I was having technical difficulties. How you doing?
That's okay. Just so you know.
Wait a minute. Let me say this. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? I'm Dr. Dorian Roberts. I'm one of the co-hosts here at DCTV430. And I just want to give a special shout out, Justin, for getting Nicholas on here. You're an attractive young man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
I thought this was about body image here. This is Justin. Justin told me not to wear a shirt tonight. Is there a reason why? I'm kidding.
Because we have a hello that's called Christy Kate that's single.
You are too, Mighty Carl. We have been talking about body image. And we have also, talked about all those changes that we do. And us ladies, let's be honest. Okay, I'm a pasty white girl. I have all these products to help me get tan and to get dark to try to change those looks. When the hairs start going gray, ladies, there's this great stuff called Gray Away Quick Spray. And so we know that one of the things that people notice, obviously, about you right away is your looks. And you are an actor, but you also
I act like a teacher.
You act like a teacher.
I act like a teacher.
And those of us in education applaud the fact that you left something that focused so much on other things to work with kids. And we want you to tell us a little bit about that. And I think Dorian has some questions for you to answer for her. But also, if you will just give us a little quick background for our viewers.
Well, again, I went to Rutgers University. I was a history major. I always wanted to be a history teacher. Indiana Jones was my inspiration. And I ended up falling into acting after college. And I was on a soap opera for 2 years. They kept hiring me back. I was horrible. I figured it was only a matter of time before they realized how bad I was. Plus, I just didn't enjoy it. There was nothing gratifying about it. Same time, they offered me a 2-year contract and permanent sub opened up my old high school. So I decided to take that road, which, I mean, and I tell my students all the time, and I always tell them that story because, again, it's value. It's not about what you make or fame or anything like that. I mean, I would have enjoyed mild celebrity and a lot of money, but I would have been unhappy and miserable, and I would have never gotten nearly the recognition. But I'm not confident about a lot of things, but I know I'm a passionate, caring, and loving teacher. And I feel like since I pursued that field, it kind of led me into different avenues. And it allows me to speak up for educators, to celebrate students, and to kind of use that story to not only humanize myself, but just, I mean, like the whole issue we were discussing, body image. And it's the first stories I tell my students every year. I show them an awkward picture. and I tell them about every girl that rejected me, and I tell them how I used to glue my ears to my head when I was in 8th grade because everyone called me dumb big ears. And I let them know it's not the worst time. Some of them are going through their awkward phase right there. And it's funny, I teach history, but I spend time after time talking about body image, how social media does mess with their mindset, their psyche, how Instagram leads to depression, leads to more issues with not only girls, but with guys. It sets up false, I would say, expectations. And it's funny because I remember, you ladies are not old, but I mean, we're all at the age where we were before social media. So it's like we used to see people, it was in commercials and magazines, and that was it. Like we could avoid that. Right. Now I feel like students, I mean, I have female students in Home into Fitness, they're like, Mr. Ferroni, and they'll show me like, how do I get my butt like that or my legs like that? And to me, it's like, it's everywhere and it's constant. Parents can't really protect their kids from it. So I think the best thing to do, what I try to do is to instill them with the power of self-esteem that, first of all, I let them know that, and I have this quote that I always show them, you'll never look like the girl in the magazine because the girl in the magazine doesn't look like the girl in the magazine.
She doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it's funny because I do have a lot of celebrity friends who come in, who they meet, I'm sorry, is that mine?
No, keep going.
Okay. And I always bring in actor friends and famous friends to kind of come in and reinstate that this is all, it's smoke and mirrors, as they say. It's not real. And it's, to me, I feel like teenage girls have it so bad right now because it's all about attention. It's all about who's getting more attention. It's not about self-esteem. It's all about selfies. And so I'm doing this awkward album campaign with celebrities who donate awkward childhood photos and tell stories about being bullied or being insecure and having low self-esteem. So that way, even girls, even Ryan Gosling went through an awkward stage, which you'd be surprised. It's like, so it's self-esteem now is such a fragile thing and it's so rare. So, I mean, I feel like the best thing we could do as educators is to ensure that as a foundation first.
So give us a good picture of this project you're working on, and when will it? Is it out right now, or is it?
I'm finalizing the celebrities right now, so I'm collecting photos, and I'm just launching a Just Words campaign where I'm going to get celebrities to kind of like the ALS challenge, where I'm going to get celebrities to share all the names that were called as kids on Instagram, and then challenge 2 other celebrities to do so to kind of get a viral thing. And to me, it's like, and I would say bullying. Passing a law on bullying is not going to end it, it's just criminalize it. Meaning the only way to ensure that doesn't happen is to empower kids where they don't feel the need to bully, or words will not affect how they feel about themselves. And so, and to me, one of the campaigns that we are going to do in a while for girls is going to be self-worth over selfies.
Oh, awesome.
Self-worth. So that's called self-worth over selfies.
Yes, that's something we're going to be launching very soon too. And just, again, to make it so, and it's funny, and I discussed this with them, and I discussed how they feel if they post a picture and they only get 10 likes, and how that makes them reflect themselves and think something's wrong with them. And it's just, to me, it's funny, as a guy, I feel like it's affecting us, but just seeing it affect teenage girls in front of me, it's heartbreaking. And to me, it's something that they'll carry with them for a long time, and it's reinstilling that now. So, I mean, as an educator, I think it's as vital as academics. It is, self-evaluation. And I think it was who was on before me? I'm sorry, the gentleman's name?
Andy Milne.
And he was saying it too, and it's like, a matter of just kind of reinforcing it on a daily basis and getting kids to understand that. My thing is, I just want them to be aware. I want them to know that it's okay if they feel this way after looking at pictures on Instagram, but this doesn't rate them, or it doesn't allow, it shouldn't allow them. Yeah, they shouldn't define themselves based on other people's perception of them. And I mean, I even do this whole thing with hair. I mean, again, I have a lot of students who are a minority, and it's like I see burn marks on their neck all the time from their hair. So I even do this big push why even embracing your natural hair is a beautiful thing. How media dictates that straight hair is good hair, therefore curly hair must be bad hair. But I have no idea who the hell, at what point they determined that in history, but hair is hair. So it's like seeing people go through this image, and it's like even comparing to Michelle Obama, how she probably feels the need to straighten her hair because she feels like it's more acceptable. Or, so it's, I mean, it's funny, I do teach history, but to me, these are more lasting lessons, getting everyone to love who they are. and like letting a girl know that, you know, I have no problem with her wearing makeup, but she's beautiful without it.
These are the type of lessons that change history.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Absolutely. You disappeared on me. I was a little disappointed.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask you just a couple of questions. When you talk about, you know, our show is called, this segment of our show or episode is called Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Now, you were voted by People Magazine, being that you are the sexiest and fittest educator alive. What do you?
You don't know that my mom was responsible for those votes. Okay. And I'll be honest, and I will be honest. When they first told me that, and the editor followed a few of my speeches about youth and said, you know, we want to include you in something. And when they first presented with me, I thought to myself, no, and I basically said no. And I said, the last thing we need to do is sexualize a teacher. And I started thinking of every headline and all the backlash and how if it was a woman, how it would be perceived differently than being a man. So then after meeting with them, we discussed, we talked it over, and then I basically came to the perception where if you change the word sexiest to influential or inspirational, it would have had the same meaning. Like they weren't picking. I mean, there's a lot. Again, the gentleman was on who's in better shape than I am. I mean, he's a health expert. So it wasn't a matter of that. It was a matter of kind of trying to use that platform to advocate for educators, to advocate for youth, to tell the story of the Awkward Album, to let people know. And it's honestly, it was a very thin tightrope to walk, and I battled with it. But at the same time, it also allowed me an opportunity to advocate for educators and youth that no other teacher had an opportunity before. I became very good at saying, when they asked me, oh, what does it feel like? It's great, but this is why I'm here. This is who I want to celebrate. This is why we should care about education, educators. This is what people are doing in education. This is what kids need to have their teachers do for them. So I became very good at kind of working my way from that question and just bouncing it right back to celebrating all the educators that are out there and celebrating what needs to be done in education.
You got an open door for a platform to help make a difference and to change that history a little bit from the direction it's going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we have the two projects. We have the Awkward Album and we have Self-Worth
over selfies. We're not going to start that until June. So I'm kind of finalizing the Awkward Album, the Just Words campaign. But I'm also, and the whole issue with People Magazine, just to kind of spill the beans now, I partnered with them and a production company, and we're doing a show where I get to celebrate teachers. And the whole premise of the show is to celebrate amazing educators. And that's kind of my baby. That's why I've been fighting for 2 years. And it's been what I've been pushing for a long time. And I just want, it just seems like all the naysayers and negative publicity. I mean, you would think that there are so many bad teachers in this country, but anybody who's on Twitter for 5 minutes sees that there are so many more teachers caring and loving and incredible than there are bad teachers. So it makes me sick to my stomach when someone who's not qualified to be a teacher, has the characteristics, judges us or criticizes us.
Taking us to church today.
No.
All right, Heidi, do you have a question you'd like to ask Dorian? I'm not sure if she's going to try to call back in. Heidi, you went mute.
Oh, now can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
So when you have these discussions, and you were talking about it prior, and right now it's also a big thing where they rate each other, secretly on these different apps. How do you deal with that when you have kids come to you and be like, well, all these people rated me a 2, or oh, I'm rated a 10. Like how do you deal with that image programs that you have going, or that you're going to be developing? How are you going to tie that in? Because it's a big thing right now.
Well, first I always show them, and we discuss history, and I always say, beauty's a matter of, I would say, pop culture defines beauty. And my great example is we don't see many thin and tan girls in museums, like thin and tan girls. There are not many statues or paintings of thin tan girls in museums. Yeah, which means that hasn't been the norm. Yes, that hasn't been the norm. So I also let them, and I also make them aware of media, how media determines, again, media kind of builds perception and of what the ideal is beautiful. And if it went the other way, the other extreme would be. But it's funny because I do train kids after school. I do help kids with their nutrition, but also at the same time, I let them know they don't need a 6-pack to be valuable. They don't need to be cut up or built or muscular to be a better person. And and it's such an interesting battle on a daily basis. And it's something we do see on a daily basis. And it's tough. It's tough because you don't want to cross the line. At the same time, sometimes things need to be said. You know, it's every day. You need to tell. I mean, every day with a female student, it's like, you know, you're a beautiful girl. It doesn't. Your Instagram, that doesn't define who you are. It's not going to matter in 4 years from now. No one, you know, at the end of at the end of your life, no one's going to care how many people liked your pictures. You know, that's the least. It's all relative. And like you said, there's these apps now and they showed me one called After School. My students showed me where you could go on anonymously, and to me, and I'm like, it's so destructive and it's so barbaric and it's almost like looking at comments on articles where people can post anonymously, and to me it teaches such malicious behavior, and I don't want them to have tough skin. You know, we shouldn't raise kids to have tough skin. We should raise kids who don't need tough skin because, you know, they're confident and secure in themselves, so they don't feel the need to do that. So it's really, I mean, my heart goes out to parents, because I feel like 20 years ago you could lock your kids in their room and protect them. Now it's like 24 hours a day they have constant mass media and pop culture and social media with them, where it's like they can be attacked anywhere. The only safe place is in the forest with no Wi-Fi. That seems to be the only safe place.
And maybe not there either.
No, maybe not there. Deal with a bear attack over being harassed on Facebook.
Dr. Dorian, you're back in here. Do you have another question you'd like to ask Nicholas?
Woo! Yeah. Okay, let me hurry up and ask this one. Now, the campaign that you were talking about previously, was that the Tell the Truth campaign?
No, Teach Your Truth is something I've been working on now for 2 years, which we're getting closer and closer. And that's a campaign. And to me, it has to do with self-worth, because as a history teacher, you know, I'm a white Christian straight male, and I should be ecstatic about our textbooks because all they do is talk about straight white Christian males. And to me, as an educator, that just, when I went to college and I kind of took my first African cultures class, my women's cultures class, and to me, I feel like whoever writes history controls thought and perception. Because we indirectly teach kids to be racist, sexist, discriminatory, and prejudiced, because by teaching that certain people did everything, you then basically make everyone else seem like they had no contribution. We teach sexism by saying that men did everything. We teach racism by saying that certain races did everything. And by leaving people out, excluding people, we're indirectly teaching inferiority and superiority. So to me, the Teach Your Truth campaign is just to be honest, to include more minority groups in textbooks. And I mean, you know, it's not to be politically correct. Everybody says, oh, you want to be, no, I want to be honest. I mean, if I could write a textbook that leaves out white Christian males and made you think that women are minorities and everything, and I would tell the truth, just because I would be leaving out certain history. So it's all a matter, to me, history. I feel like what we teach is so much more important than how we teach, because it builds those sort of beliefs and foundations. You know, I can't imagine, again, I joke around my students, you know, history is the most sexist term itself, because it means his story, histora. You know, inquiries of wise men, like you can't get any more sex. Women were non-existent in the world up until 200 years ago. They weren't allowed to tell their story. So and to be a woman of color, it's like that's even the smaller group. I joke around my female students because I'm predominantly women of color, and I'm like, women of color are the largest demographic in the world, but they're the most persecuted demographic in history, even at the current time. So my goal is to include more minority groups, LGBT history, Jewish history, Muslim history, obviously female history, African American history, and not to be politically correct, just to be genuine. You know, everybody says, oh, we can't teach about everybody. No, we don't teach about every white figure, but we can include more and give everyone their fair stake.
Now, you talked about being a white Christian heterosexual male, which brings me to my next question. And maybe I missed it and you guys touched on it while I was on top. But can you discuss your work with transgender teens?
I do a lot of work for LGBTQ youth. I haven't been as involved in the transgender community yet, just because it's something I'm still learning about and it's still new to me. And I do get asked to talk about it, and I refuse to talk about something I'm still kind of learning about and kind of develop my own thoughts on. But as far as my LGBT activism, to me, it breaks my heart that there's kids out there who take their lives because they feel like there's something wrong. And it's my arguments where, and it's funny because everyone always asking, I'm doing an interview, they're like, so when did you come out to your students? I'm like, about what? They're like, about you're gay. I said, but I'm not. And they're like, well, why do you care so much? And why are you so passionate? And I always bring up the story when, for the longest time I said, I was born a sinner. My sins mentioned in the Bible many times, but luckily society learned to accept left-handed people for what we really are. And that's kind of, my grandmother tried to change me a lot, but she accepted. So it's just, I can't, if this was the 60s, I'd be supporting civil rights. You wouldn't ask me if I'm black. If this was the 20s, actually it's the present day and I support women's rights. You don't ask me if I'm a woman, but it's just, I hate, like Martin Luther King said, an injustice to anyone is an injustice to everyone. There's no such thing. So, I care about my students enough to want to make sure that they enter class. That's funny because I know what classes have students who may be LGBT. So to discuss those topics in my class as far as same-sex marriage, marriage equality, discrimination and prejudice, just because I want them to know. And it's, as an educator, sometimes the only support our students receive is in our classroom. A girl may be told to home she's ugly, she's this, she's that. So the only support or encouragement they have is when they come to school. Or their parents may not support them. So the only support or encouragement they have is from their teachers. So I would say as a teacher, you have to be an outspoken advocate about everything, because if you're not outspoken, you might as well not be an advocate.
Well, I thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. You have brought a lot to the
No.
I talk way too much. I just want to listen to you guys talk and learn from you guys and hear all your expertise.
What we do want you to know is that I think everyone just about this joined us. We're all educators. We all are from across this country. We're a wide span, and we all teach various subjects. We have quite a few PE teachers that came here to support tonight for Andy. But we have librarian here, we have math teacher here, we have English teacher, we have technology teacher, we have history teacher. Dorian is Detroit, I'm Texas, Heidi is Las Vegas, Valerie is Georgia. And so we all have supportive nature and feel and really do want to support your project. And if you need any educator help or to get the word out about something, send us links. DCTV430 will post it, put it out there, put it on a website, put it in our EduMatch groups. We'll be glad to do that.
Hey, Nicholas, come close.
Yes.
Our email address is dctv430@gmail.com. Anything you need, honey. Anything you need, okay? We'll keep an eye on for you.
Well, I will definitely be in touch. And I'm gonna be an avid listener and watcher now, so thank you. Thank you so much for all you do. And obviously, especially if you're elementary school, you don't really know the fruits of your work until later on. But teachers, I always say, teachers change lives and save lives every single day. So thank you so much for what you guys do, and I hope to be back on. Have me on anytime.
Everything you do. Don't you worry.
Thank you so much, ladies. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
Oh, Dr. D, that was great. What's some great
come back
information?
In just for a few minutes, and we know that we have gone a few minutes beyond our time, and some of you have left us, but that's okay. We are so glad you joined. We know that things go much deeper than the outside looks, and basically communicating that not only to our kids, but to a culture of people in the workforce, to a culture of people on TV, to a culture of older people, as well as little bitty ones that haven't gotten there yet. We want them to know that we see beauty all the way through and through, just as human beings. And Valerie's trying to get back in, but in case she doesn't make it, I just want to say thanks to all of you who joined us. Special thanks to Justin. This was one of his ideas to have this show. Special thanks to Andy and to Nicholas. And don't forget, in 2 weeks, June the 2nd, this season is not finished yet, everybody. Come on back and join us on June the 2nd, where you will find the hosts, that's right, the four of us, are in the hot seat. You guys will surprise us with topics. We'll let you surprise us through Twitter. You can surprise us through Voxer. You can send us an email. Let us know. We're going to be here and we're going to answer your questions because, as Nicholas pointed out earlier tonight, we want to be honest. It's all about being honest, putting it out there, telling what we're passionate about. I think it was obvious that not only was either one of our guests passionate about their jobs, but they're passionate about the kids they work with, and we want everybody to feel that as well. Any last words from you, Dorian or Heidi?
For myself, I cannot say. I got the guest director saying I'm passionate about one guest. No, I'm about to give a shout out to Andrew. Andrew, I love your accent. I love your enthusiasm. And I love the fact that you're persistent and you won't let technology beat you down. And for that, I say, mwah, 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 I love you to death. Now, Nicholas, let's get back to you. I am just, the information you brought forth, just as a white male teacher was just, it was great. Yeah, and I thank you for bringing your message here to DCTV430. I really, really do. We all appreciate it. And just want to say thank you for everybody that came out tonight to support the show. This is the first time we had 2 special guests in one episode. I mean, we on our way up. Hey, Oprah. Hey, Oprah. Hey, TT Oprah. Pick us up. This was great. Heidi, do you have any closing remarks?
I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. We appreciate you all. And remember, you're all beautiful.
Come on.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.